Yo, what's shaking, everyone? Welcome back to Mindset Motivated with Zack George and yours truly, Robert Bruski, the podcast where we talk about all things mindset and motivation related. This particular episode, I think we're going to have a difficult time squeezing into such a short time period because there's been a lot of requests for us to talk about this. And that is the subject of anxiety.
Anxiety.
Right? We live in a world these days that induces so much anxiety with all the social media and what's going on in politics and health and all this sort of stuff. So hopefully we'll get you some information on how to deal with it. But first, let's talk about where it comes from, because that's important, right, Zach? Like,
that's very
you need
important.
to understand your attacker before you can counterattack.
Oh, you know what? And I see it too when we first bring kids out to their first fight.
Yeah.
Oh man, even a week before. There's a thing in my household with my family, with my brother Joey. Joey's a North American Muay Thai champion, lion fight champion. Hi, Joey. But he'll laugh when he hears about anxiety, right?
Yep.
Our rule in our house when we were growing up is a week before the fight, you just leave that asshole alone, whoever's fighting. Your anxiety levels are so high. And it's the fear of the unknown. Like, we know we're gonna get punched and kicked in the head. That's not what we're afraid. That's not what we're afraid of. It's fear of the unknown. It's also anxiety comes from putting a high amount of pressure on yourself to accomplish something.
Yeah.
That's another form of anxiety as well too.
Yeah.
So that's where it sort of stems from. Now, if I have a really high workload and I've set my expectations high for myself, on a Monday morning, I'm gonna feel anxiety about that day. If I'm filming a podcast, I'm coming in to talk about all these, hard topics, I'm gonna feel anxiety before I come in. I think the reason that we wanted to talk about this, throughout this lockdown and the pandemic with things hitting lives and not knowing what's happening and bad news coming in and all these terrible things, we had anxiety.
Yeah.
I had anxiety. Did you have anxiety?
Yeah, of course.
I had anxiety.
Of course, just pacing like you wouldn't believe.
It's human. So we want to talk about where it comes from and what are some strategies that we can use to fight through this battle together and help some people that are suffering. Now, if you are clinically suffering from anxiety and you have been prescribed medication, we'll say this a couple times, for a disorder, do as the doctor says.
Legal disclaimer.
Legal disclaimer,
Yep.
Take the medication as prescribed.
Yep.
Okay? Anxiety can also be caused, obviously, from too much coffee. It can be caused from, use of drugs or alcohol as well, too.
Yeah.
Or therefore the day after or the day after that.
Yeah. There's a chemical reason for anxiety, but there's also a mindset reason for anxiety.
That's what we want to touch on.
Exactly.
That's our space.
I'm so on board with you about it being fear-based. I completely agree.
Fear-based.
And I very frequently say that nobody's actually really afraid of the dark. They're afraid of what's in the dark, Mm-hmm. So it's like you said, you're going to get hit when you get in the ring. So you're not really afraid of the dark getting hit. You're afraid of what's going to come of that. Like, are you going to win? Are you going to lose?
Are you going to look bad?
You're going to look bad?
Yeah.
So it's all fear-based, right? So now that we understand where anxiety comes from, let's talk about how to deal with it, because that's I think the bigger question that most people have, right? So let me ask you, how do you deal with your anxiety?
Well, I find that if I hold my anxiety in and I don't talk to anybody about what's going on, I will spin things in my head. Like, if I think something's wrong with me, within a week of not getting it checked out, my head's already gone to it's got to be terminal cancer, right? So, I have to talk and I have to keep in contact with other people.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to sound like you're always complaining or anything, but if you're legitimately suffering from anxiety, reach out. You're not alone.
Yeah.
I find that anxiety, confidence is built by preparation. So if I'm heading into the unknown, if I find a lot of anxiety, I find structure takes away a lot of anxiety. That's why, a lot of sports and athletes become ritualistic, right?
Okay.
Where, they'll wrap their hand a certain way or they'll put things on, have your coffee in the morning, do the same things that you do every day. Before a fight, I used to have my bag packed 2 days before. I'd have two pairs of hand wraps. I'd have 3 mouth guards just in case something got lost. A couple different kinds of shorts. I'd already have my menu for the weigh-in and everything. And then I had no anxiety after a while. My first time I did.
Yeah.
But then as I got to know this, so preparation, finding out as much as you can, connecting with other people, keeping good people around you.
Yep.
If you're really suffering from anxiety, get a journal, try to spill this stuff out a little bit.
For me, like listening to what you're saying, one thing is always having somebody to talk to, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you have anxiety about a date that you're going on or a business deal that you're going on, you want to talk it out,
Mm-hmm.
even if that person's there to listen. The second one that you just actually reminded me about is preparation. The majority of my anxiety comes from flying with Air Canada through Pearson Airport.
Yeah.
There is always something that goes wrong with one of those two or both of them, right? So if I'm prepared ahead of time, I alleviate that anxiety. But the big thing is, because I don't have clinical anxiety, when I have it, it's in my head. What I do is I try to get it out of my head. So how do I get it out of my head? I follow a number of steps and processes to clear the mind. Meditation, you can find a whole bunch of stuff online in the morning, same way you clear your mind, clearing your mind when you're in the middle of an anxiety attack.
And you know what? At some point, you have to let go.
Yeah.
You have to let go of the outcome. You just have to let go of it. And I think, a lot of people that have faith, and I'm not preaching religion or anything like that, but if you have faith in a process, if you have faith in whatever your ritual is, if you have faith in your purpose as to what you're doing, this can help to alleviate some of that anxiety. I think anxiety comes from lack of faith, lack of faith in yourself, lack of faith in those around you, lack of faith in your abilities. So maybe we come back and we work on the product again. Why do I have so much anxiety? Why do I feel that lack of faith in myself?
Yeah.
Maybe I need some affirmations to give me some faith. Maybe I need to tell myself I am what I want, right? A certain amount of times before I leave the house. And there's nothing weird about that, okay? Then this is where it comes in. And tons of professional athletes do this. They will have affirmations posted up all around their house pre-competition.
Yep.
Just like Muhammad Ali, just to plant that seed and then see it over and over and over again until it gets into their daily life and into their habits, till eventually you say it out loud and you have no choice but to believe it or to act the way that you're saying it.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be conducive. What you're saying has to be conducive with your actions. Your body has to align at some point. You can't say one thing to yourself and do another for too long.
And it doesn't even happen pre-competition. Like a number of track athletes, when they're getting ready to run their 100-meter or 200-meter sprint, they imagine themselves crossing the finish line.
That's right.
They talk themselves up like, you could do this. You've got the strength to do it, because they're changing their mindset in that way. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I know there's a lot of stuff on the internet these days about affirmations and alignment and manifestation and stuff like that, but a lot of it has been scientifically proven, so it isn't wishy-washy, hocus pocus, kumbaya stuff, and a lot of very successful people do it.
Yeah. So leaving you off with that, if you're suffering really terrible from anxiety, pick up the phone and talk to somebody, limit your caffeine intake.
Red Bull.
And come back and just try to create a ritual where, you feel confident with a couple positive affirmations.
Yeah. It's everything for this episode of Mindset Motivated, ladies and gentlemen, with Zack George and Robert Bruski. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share. And until next time, stay frosty.
Stay hungry.